Hi guys, welcome again to my nail channel. If you're new, hi, and if you're not, welcome back. Please don't hate me. So, I know it is way too early, so apologies on that. But I have been sorting out nail art reels for the beauty place that I am working, and I have been working on Christmas designs. Ones like these are old ones that you will find previous videos for. Some are new. See, like old. So this is the first time I have tried this design, and I was so super happy with how it turned out. I wanted to film it now before I forgot and share it with you. So me saying please hate me, I may release it this week. I may keep it in my folder and release it way later on. But just in case I release it sooner rather than near to Christmas, I apologize. But I really was happy with how that turned out, and I just really wanted to share. So I am just going in with my base layers, and this is a lovely, slightly sparkly, slightly sheer white. I will have a look at the bottle, and it is called To Be My Wife, and it is from Nail and Beauty Excellence. It is part of their bridal collection. I don't have the full bridal collection. I kind of just picked and chose colours that I like, and I like this one. I think it's a nice one for Christmas. You can get the same effect with a milky white. And then have a super fine glitter, or some of them are labelled as like pixie dusts because they're that fine. Sprinkle a little of that on top, cure it, and then go in with another layer of your milky white, and that will trap the colour in between the layers. So while that is curing, for this video you're literally going to need your base colour, a solid white. If you're just going to do it on a solid white, then you just need your solid white. You are going to need a matte top coat. You're going to need a black gel paint, and a pot of this. So this has scruffy writing all over it, do ignore it. But basically this is clear acrylic, which I have then tipped a bit of pixie dust into, you know, the super fine glitter. I also have dumped the odd little scoopful of random chromes into there, and little bits of mica powder. So my giant tub of acrylic powder is yeah, very sparkly. So I'm going to do the center one first, the simpler of the two. So you want to take your gel polish. You can use one of the thicker universal brushes. Draw a line down the center, and then just widen outwards until you get the thickness that you are wanting. A universal or a thicker brush, like a detailer brush, will make this easier, because then you've got your thicker line with a few less brush strokes and effort than what I've chosen to do with that one. So we've popped that one in the lamp, and I'm just going to go ahead and prep all the others and get all the white parts on. So these tips look matte, and that is because I jumped the gun, and after my base layer I'm matte top coated. I really didn't need to, because I'm going to have to do it after I've done this layer anyway. So when you've got your base layer on, cure it, wipe your inhibition layer off, and then go in with your white polish, like I am now. Mark off the sections that you're going to want to be, like fully matte and white, where you're going to do your sweater designs. Cure those and then go over with the matte top coat, because after that you're going to be doing your sweater line work and your sugaring, so you don't want a bottom tacky layer for that. So these have been lined out and they have been rematted. So I have here, so I wanted my design raised but not too raised, and I wasn't quite getting the effect I wanted from just the polish. So my polish has a tiny bit of gel paint mixed into it as well. But you can just do one or the other. You can mix like I did, or you can go for gel paint or gel polish, whichever works best for you. You can still get a really good effect with gel polish. In fact, I think the majority of my older sweater videos are actually done with just gel polish. So you want to get your lines where you want them, and then you want to give it a really good sprinkle. This was me deciding whether or not to go in with the middle details first. I decided not. So give it a good sprinkle. You want to leave it to sit there for a couple of seconds. Tip it off and then check it. If your lines are fully matte, cure it, it is fine. If there are some shiny parts on it, it means it can still absorb more acrylic powder, so pop a bit more on until the shiny parts have gone, and then cure it. So while the other one's curing, I'm going to go in and outline my next nail. I like to outline them because it kind of gives you that solid border for where your design's going to be. Now, compared to the first time I did these designs, I have done the diagonal section on this one quite a bit thicker. So I would probably slim that back down. And my middle line, coincidentally, I have actually done thinner, and I actually preferred that a little thicker. So for fine line work, I always teach not to put a ball of gel product on the end of your brush, because it gives you little blobby sections. However, break the rule for this part, and you want to gather a little blob and just pop that on there in like a diagonalish shape, and then you just want to take your brush at the end and flick those little ends down, and then we're just dusting that with acrylic powder again. Obviously mine is mixed with all sorts to make it shiny, but just plain acrylic powder works just as well. In fact, that was plain acrylic powder until I completely messed it up. So here I am just using the tip of my brush to dot out some diamond shape, to dot out where my diamond shapes will go. I don't do it for this next one and it ends up really crooked, just watch. Dotting definitely helps. So the beauty with sweater designs is you can draw any shape you want, any pattern you want. Generally, as long as it's raised, it is counted as a sweater design. So for this one, I chose to go in with diamonds. And then I kind of widen it out with kind of like right angle lines, like L shapes or V shapes, just to fill in those gaps and add a little more texture and pattern. Now you can do any parts of these and sprinkle and cure at any time, and then go back in and do the rest of it. So if you're worried about knocking, you could do the diamond, sprinkle, cure, then go in and do your lines, then go in and do the dots. You do not have to go in and do it all in one go like I have. Just work at whatever pace you are comfortable with. So for this one, you want to be drawing the 2 lines opposite each other, same thickness and length, and then we're going to join them up. This is the easiest way I have found to do this design, which doesn't leave them completely crooked and absolutely all over the shop. And then you are going to pull a tail diagonally down to the one below. I always go from left to right, go whichever way works for you. And the beauty of this design, so that is the step I've left it at, but you can then pull from right to left and give yourself like the kind of like the joined up diamondy shapes. There is a word for it, I just don't know what it is. But so those kind of steps work for multiple designs. And then I'm just going in with dots to fill up that space. If you don't want to sprinkle with acrylic powder as well, but you do have a super fine glitter and you don't mind the rougher texture, you can sprinkle with just the glitter. See, I like the matte effect but with a little sparkle, which is why I made a nice big mix of acrylic. So we're going in with our gel paint. This is on a matte nail, just to keep it from going anywhere. And then I do believe it's 2, 4, 6 dots. So I do my middle, do my outers, and then I do fill in my other 2 to try and get them in the right place. And as ridiculous as this may sound, I actually find it easier to do the snowflakes smaller. The smaller they are, the easier I find it. I don't know if it's because there's shorter lines, so you don't have long, skinny little lines going everywhere. So I've rolled my brush into a point, and I'm dragging from the outside in for this one. I have done this in the past with gel polish. It is manageable, but you will definitely have to cure regularly if you want to keep the super skinny lines. Saying that, if you have a thicker gel polish, you might be okay. It's just for the ones that are a little runny. So next I am switching to I believe I switched to a skinnier dotting tool. Yes, I do. I have one that's like a tiny point, and I'm just going to put 2 dots at either side of the lines. So if you don't have a really, really pointy dotting tool like that, the pointy end of a cuticle stick works really, really well. So you're just going to dot your dots. And then you want to load your brush again, just with a tiny amount of paint this time, and roll it. So you have that point, and then you using the paint that are in the dots to drag your lines down to meet in the middle. Some of these dots, as you can see, I've done a little close, so you can't quite see the sticks. Once you are practiced doing designs like these, they are really easy just to throw together quite quickly. So you want a dot in between each of the branches, and I'm back to, it is my smallest dotting tool after the pointy one, but you can choose bigger ones if you want. And then I do believe I pull into the middle. Yes, I do. And with the snowflakes, you can add as little or as much detail as you want. You can completely leave this one there, or you can go in and add more. So this one I filmed at a little bit of a slower pace so I could film it properly, but these are generally quite quick to throw together, and they don't need to be that detailed either. So the usual dot in the middle and the pull out for the stars. And then I'm just going to add some little black dots. Another nail tech I watched a long time ago said she likes to do her dots in threes around the stars. She said it just looked better, but honestly, she was right. So now I borrowed that tip and I've ran with it ever since. But some random little black snowflakes on there too. And then I decided to dot in the middle. You do not need to do that if you don't want to. But that one is done and you can pop that in and cure. Now this is the normal 3, 3, 3 and 3 and then the one in between. And you pull from the middle outwards for these ones for your little spiky snowflakes. And then we just add some black dots and some black stars to this one. They're all going to have a star somewhere on them, or at least dots, because that is just going to tie them all in together for the ones that I don't do a lot of snowflakes on. And you could do one big one, or you could do many little ones. You could do half ones coming out of the sweater pattern. The choice is limitless. So we're doing the dot in the middle and the 6 on the outside for this one. And don't worry if your dots are off center and crooked. You would not believe how many years of practicing, quite frankly, especially when you look at it and think it's just dots, it's taken for me to get those in a relatively even and not wonky all over the place. Yeah. State. So this one, I just pulled my lines into the middle, and then I'm using the very tip of my brush just to add spiky little branches. I have also seen lately, so people are, I don't know if you've seen the Nails Reloaded art books, where they have like template sheets and you can draw on them and then you take them off with sticky tape and use them again and things like that. So I'm just drawing a Y shape in between these with the very thin point of the brush. I have seen people on like acetate sheets and things like that drawing snowflakes at the moment, then covering them in a layer of base coat and then peeling them off, and they are keeping them in a folder and they're using them like homemade stickers. Somebody posted it on Instagram. They're doing that way, so when clients come in for snowflakes for nail art, it is quicker. So just a future tip there. And there we have it. There are my black and white snowflake sweater Christmas nails. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I really, really hope you give these a try. And please don't shoot me for releasing a Christmas video so early. Bye guys.